Well, it's clear that the status quo is unacceptable, and that everybody in every state must take action to make sure, at a minimum, that we do all we can to secure the safety of students at schools, but also to ensure the safety of our communities. I have already asked my office to get involved to immediately evaluate the safety of our schools and see what, if anything, more can be done. I have a history in this in that when I was Attorney General, we worked closely with the Texas School Safety Center. And so it's essential immediately that we work with the Texas School Safety Center, review what the standards are, see the extent to which they need to be updated. That said, there is a lot more that can be done that must be done. I'll mention some of the things. One is called Fix NICS, the National Instant Background Check done at the federal level. It is clear that the NICS system was flawed in the aftermath of Sutherland Springs. It was flawed in the aftermath of what happened in Florida. There are proposals in Congress to fix the NICS program. Some of those proposals should be strongly considered and meaningfully passed. Two is we need to recognize this is a genuine mental health issue. It's clear that what happened with the shooter in Sutherland Springs, as well as what happened with the shooter in Florida, there were serious mental health issues. We as a society, and we as government leaders, have to find a way to evaluate these mental health issues and find a way to address them as they concern potential gun violence. Understanding this, and this kind of emphasizes the magnitude of the challenge, and that is not all mental health issues are going to lead to someone using a gun to harm others. We need to find out a way to identify and distinguish between mental health issues that would cause a gun crime and those that would not cause a gun crime. Additionally, we need to be able to empower local law enforcement to be able to respond to red flags. I mean, listen, there were red flags that were raised, again, in the aftermath of Sutherland Springs, in the aftermath of Florida. Let me restate that. There were red flags raised before the shooting in Sutherland Springs, before the shooting in Florida. And yet those weren't responded to. And then we need to get governments at all levels to both input data into the NICS system, the National Instant Background Check system, as well as be responsible for not doing so. Again, going back to Sutherland Springs, there was an error by the United States Air Force by not entering data that could have prevented the shooter from being able to purchase a gun. Again, it's my understanding that there was an error by government officials by not following up on red flag warnings about this particular shooter in Florida. And so we need to find ways to empower and get from local officials, federal officials, the work that is needed to make sure we identify people who pose a serious problem. So those are just some of the things that can be done. You may have heard that governors are going to Washington, D.C. Later on this week. We will be meeting with the president and his team to talk about this on a national level. This is something that requires a national response. All 50 states working collaboratively together to find out the right solutions.
Governor, should semi-automatic weapons remain legal?
Guys, we got to run. Thank you, guys.
Governor, should semi-automatic